the Director of OSHDP, Lawrenz Alvarez, who will be joining us to introduce the panelists of our Fireside Chat Virtual Home Buying and Selling. Hello, Lawrenz.
Thank you, Aaron. Good morning mga ka-TGFI and OSHmates. Welcome to day 2 of our OSHDP Affordable Housing Summit 2021. I am Lawrence Alvarez, one of the directors of OSHDP, and I'll be moderating this fireside chat about virtual home buying and selling. So for sure by this time, you've learned a lot already about the essentials of building and buying your first home. But we still have a lot of topics to cover. We can say today is our lucky day because we will hear from our real estate experts who will share their knowledge and expertise about virtual home buying and selling. I'm thrilled to introduce to you our esteemed panel speakers for today. So first of all, let's start with the CEO of Lamudi Philippines, Mr. Kenneth Stern. So Mr. Kenneth Stern is a real estate veteran with 10 years of experience in the industry in the United States, Australia, and the Philippines. But prior to joining Lamudi, he was the country manager of Remax Philippines and helped the company grow to be one of the largest real estate franchises in the country by number of offices, agents, and transaction volume. Mr. Kenneth Stern joined Lamudi in September 2020, leading the company to its hyper-growth phase, introducing innovative industry solutions and doubling the team's manpower to support the real estate's bounce back amid the pandemic. So with that, let us all welcome Mr. Kenneth Stern.
Thank you, Lawrence. Pleasure to be here and looking forward to our discussion today. So today I'll be talking about buying and selling properties online, the new normal. Basically what Lamudi does is we're a connector. Our job is to connect buyers and sellers together to help them find their dream properties online. It's our goal to be the #1 real estate partner by creating transparency, building trust, and promoting professionalism in the buying, selling, and renting experience. We succeed at our goals when we help others find their dream property online. To give you a little bit of insight on our audiences, so in the pandemic, we actually grew in number of pages and by number of leads. So we grew about 14% in page views and about 35% in the number of leads we generate. These are the two pillars I'll be talking about further today. So page views means visibility or impressions rather on how many people will see the listings online. Leads would be those that actually click on the property and inquire to buy it. So those are two very, very important numbers to look at. And we have, just for insight, over 3 million monthly page views across all types of properties on our site, which is an incredible amount of number even through the pandemic. Next slide, please. So who is Lamudi? Basically, we are a group that's within the Emerging Markets Property Group. So in May of 2020, we were acquired by this group who has over 4,600 employees and over 210 monthly traffic amongst all of their different companies in terms of the website views. So with this, we have an extreme amount of resources now to further our hyper-growth phase, like Lawrence mentioned, to help give more resources and more tech to the Philippine communities to looking for properties to buy online. So who's actually using Lamudi? So who are the people going online to find properties right now? So most people finding properties right now are millennials. So those between 25 and 34-year-old have been the largest bracket of leads and searches for our website this last quarter of 2021. Also, who is it, boys or girls? 2/3 of our views came from females in the third quarter of 2021. So that's an interesting thing to analyze as you market your properties. Are you marketing to which demographic? Also location. So Quezon City, Manila, Makati, Cebu City, and Pasig were our most popular in terms of property seekers for location searches. And of course, people are using mobile phones for searches now, which has surpassed desktop views now, which is a new trend that we've been seeing in recent times, but a trend I think will continue as we become more mobile and people become more familiar with e-commerce and m-commerce. So I'll talk now a little bit about some affordable real estate trends that we've seen in the last quarter of 2021, which is some interesting numbers to look at. So what we've seen is that 46%, or nearly half of our leads, have gone towards economic or low-cost properties. Those properties between roughly 1.5 to about 3 million pesos. About 6.5 million properties have been on backlog, which is driving the traffic of our searchers' interest. About 145,000 have been financed by the government in 2020, and about 96% year-on-year increases of home loans were released in 2021 from January to August. So these are some very interesting numbers to understand a little bit more about the affordable housing market in the Philippines and some industry trends that we've seen in the new normal. So these are some things that people have adjusted to since we've been through a pandemic. So work, in terms of the workplace, it's now shifted from an actual office to a home. We all know this, but what we think is interesting in terms of real estate trends is that Wi-Fi accessibility, air conditioning are consistently one of our top searches on our site. So people are making sure that they have home office amenities available from move-in, which is an important part if you're looking to sell your home, that you have this that these features readily available to home buyers and to renters. So with that remote work, internet accessibility is one of the most important parts of the home buying process. Also, in terms of living, we saw about a 20% annual increase in searches for pet-friendly listings. So people with their furry friends have been increasingly looking for properties that allow for pets, and that's been an important part of the searching process as well. We also see a well-connected homes for the new normal through swimming pools, and consistently looking for open floor plans and leisure areas to separate the home and workspace. So the people are looking for those very specific amenities as we analyze the search trends. Also, in terms of socializing, so Zoom hangouts, online gaming, Netflix parties, these are new normal ways of working. Of course, school have now shifted online as well. So proximity to school is no longer as important as internet connectivity is. And lastly, shopping. The e-commerce industry has grew significantly over the last year, over 63% and $62 billion since 2020. So with that, Filipino shoppers are now more open to buying online, and that's now pushing over into the real estate market. People are now going online to search for real estates, searching for more properties. We've seen that, like I mentioned before, the increase in traffic and the increase in leads online. It's only a matter of time before people actually do more transactions online as well, which we've done a number of times so far this year, where people actually search online, connect with a broker, do virtual tour, and then buy the property sight unseen, but only through a virtual presentation, which is now a growing trend globally, but also in Manila, in the Philippines rather. So we've seen some major rises in prop tech and fintech. So e-payments and other digital platforms have definitely improved this last year. We've seen companies similar to like Nook, which is an online mortgage brokerage that we work with, Kamada, Umpisa, for digital property management and payment services, some of our partners. So the whole real estate industry is now becoming digital. So you can do basically almost every part of the transaction online now, with the exception of just a few parts towards the end in terms of government regulations. But for the most part, the entire process is now based online. Even the property management side has been put online. So with this, I think new normal, we're seeing a lot more efficiencies, making the buying a home process much easier and more fluent than ever before. We've also seen a extreme rise in warehousing. So because of the e-commerce demand, people are looking for warehousing space, both regular space and cold storage space, and last minute space, which is those just a few kilometers from the city point. So these are important trends to look at, because if you're looking to get in commercial real estate would be driven by demands in the e-commerce industry. And what is aiding the industry's pandemic accelerated digital search? So these are some of the trends that we've seen brokers use on our site. So many brokers are now going digital 100%. Online marketing strategies and best practices have been now a common necessity for brokers. Brokers now need to know how to present online and do virtual tours. They need to be able to communicate through all different communication channels, whether it's WhatsApp, Viber, Messenger, Google Chats, Zoom, etc. But the communication has now become more diverse than ever before. Lead gen can no longer be traditional, so people can't flyer anymore. They can't go to malls. Billboards are less effective than ever before. So lead gen is now a digital process, and of course, we've been able to help brokers through this process through our academy, online seminars, online housing fair, and such. And real estate developers, how we've been helping them. So we've created customized campaigns for developers. So those developers that want to market their property, we come up with OTC campaigns, we call them, which is online targeted campaigns to help direct specific searches for developers to help them find their potential buyers. We also have an online housing fair, which we've done 3 times this year, which has actually surpassed our in-person housing fair in terms of numbers. So we thought with the housing fair, we couldn't, we thought with the new normal, we wouldn't be able to do them anymore. But because we put it online, we were able to get 10x our actual foot traffic and actually increase our revenue through the online platform. We've also done webby launches. So with that, people want to learn how to do things in a new normal. We've now called in industry experts to explain different trends, and we do seminars on how to do best practices. We also have roundtable discussions with different developers and industry partners to help educate the market on current trends. And of course, we have our trend report, which is done on a quarterly basis, where we inform the market what's happening through the online searching platform, what's happening in terms of pricing, in terms of demand, in terms of searches. This is all now accessible. We want to create that transparency in the market that's never been available before. And lastly, we've been able to help property buyers and investors. So we've recently implemented a neighborhood rating. So those people who are looking for properties in certain neighborhoods, which they don't actually live in at the moment, but are interested to move there, we now have a rating system completely managed and owned by the customers themselves. So it's an actual rating from the property seekers who have lived there and sold properties there. We also have a landmark search. So if you're looking to live near a certain landmark, you can just search the landmark and find properties nearby. You can now search through a map view. So if you just want to find a certain area you want to look in, go into the map, circle it, and you can find your locations there. Price trends have been important. So understanding the ups and downs in the market, those price trends that have risen quickly, you can now see those as well. We also have a feature for those area experts. So if you want to speak to a broker who's very specific and knows the in-depth knowledge of a certain market, we now have an industry expert for every single market. And of course, we have our neighborhood guides to help guide people on what cities are doing to improve their infrastructure, their amenities, a number of different things to help people understand what city or neighborhood they want to live in. So to wrap things up, there's a few different things that we've seen in this last 2 years throughout the pandemic and the new normal of selling real estate. So number one, for sellers, having an online presence is absolutely necessary. Without an online presence, you're basically forgotten about. M-commerce and e-commerce have become crucial in all aspects of the pandemic. You need to maximize all the tools you have available to yourself to keep up with all of the trends and stay relevant, which is the most important thing in business. And to the buyers, take advantage of customer-oriented solutions. We offer a number of them through our platform. Of course, we want to encourage you to always learn and continue to learn and adapt to new tech and use the academy and other things that we've created to make things more accessible. And also to join some of our upcoming events. So we have online housing fairs, we have promos now, so unlimited rentals, and of course a growing community in our Viber chats, Facebook groups, and Instagram groups. So I hope to see you guys all there. And thank you again, Lawrence and TGFI for the time today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stern, for the very informative presentation. So now we're going to move on to our next panel speakers that will be joining us today. And they are Brookie Technologies with the founders, Ms. Stefanie Uy-Uta and Mr. Elroy Uta. So Ms. Stefanie Uy-Uta is the co-founder of Brookie Technologies, alongside Mr. Elroy Uta, who is the CEO and Chief of Product and Design. Brookie Technologies helps to simplify the home buying process for buyers and agents by providing and using cloud-based web and mobile applications that speed up the sales processing from client's inquiry to the reservation process, and helps eliminate the manual and time-consuming processes of running a real estate project. So to tell us more about it, let us hear from Ms. Stefanie Uy-Uta and Mr. Elroy Uta.
Thank you, Lawrence, for that warm introduction. Let me just share my screen real quickly. All right, so I'd just like to introduce myself once again. I'm Stefanie Uy, and I'm a co-founder of Brookie Technologies. First of all, I'd like to thank OSHDP for this opportunity to speak and to let us be heard. So right now, I'd like to share with you who we are, what we've done in the past few years, especially in this time of pandemic, and how we've been able to help our real estate developer clients and partners to move towards the digital platform. So Bricky Technologies is a property technology company that helps real estate developers move forward in the digital age by simplifying the home buying and selling process through automation. So a little bit about Bricky. We were actually one of the top startups in the tech accelerator idea space in 2019. We were also a finalist in the final pitch, which was a real estate edition, which was aired in CNN Philippines. And we were also featured in the Philippine Startup Week as one of the top 100 startups. So OSHDP is particularly close to our hearts because we were one of the participants during their 2019 national convention. And we also got our start as well. That's where we got our first few clients. And these are some of our developer partners, which you might be familiar with. So why are we here and why are we doing what we're doing? So as a real estate broker, I've been a broker, by the way, for the past 10 years already. It's been 10 years in this industry, and I've seen a lot of pain points, not only with myself as a broker, but we've also uncovered these pain points as well as we started working with our developer clients. So for the developers, we've seen a lot of slow and manual processes, fragmented tools. For example, when they would create computations, they would still use Excel, or when they're going to update their inventories, it's through Adobe Photoshop. And there's also a lot of disorganized documentation, especially when it comes to receiving the requirements of the buyers. Of course, there's a lot of processes that are still paper-driven. So these are just some of the pain points in terms of our developers. On the buyer's end, especially now in the pandemic, it's now become a hassle and inconvenient for them to go to the office, to sign documents and to pay. At the same time, there's also that instance where it's unclear for them what the next steps are, what they're supposed to do next, a difficulty in following up in terms of what's the progress of their property. And for brokers and agents, of course, it can't be avoided that buyers will inquire during off hours, especially when it comes to our OFW clients who have a different time zone from us. So there's also error-prone data and marketing collaterals. So these are just some of the pain points that we've been seeing. And we started the company back in 2019 to address these pain points. And that was even before the pandemic. So, but why now? Why is now the great time to really come up with those solutions and to really adapt to the new solutions? So we're seeing a lot of PropTech adoption, especially because of the pandemic, especially over the next 3 years, so that these real estate companies will be able to remain ahead of the curve. And this is what we've come up with Bricky. We have an all-in-one solution that's a platform for the real estate developers to be able to increase their efficiency and ease of use among their buyers, their sellers, and their staff. So we have the buyers portal that their buyers can be able to use. So right now, I know a lot of buyers are watching us right now. So if you see our developer partners, they're actually offering you this portal wherein you will be able to check on what's going on with your unit, for you to be able to know when your next payment is, for you to have an idea of how you can proceed with your purchase. And at the same time, we also provide a Bricky web app for our developer clients, which has helped them in terms of automating their manual processes. And for their sales team, we provided a mobile app for them so they can be updated of real-time data from their developers, whether it's the latest inventory, the latest computations, with the purpose in mind, so that they will be able to provide the correct and real-time data to their buyers as well. So instead of sharing with you our features, what I would really love to share today is how we've been helping our clients. So this is a use case of a medium-sized real estate developer that we've partnered with in Calabarzon, and currently they have 7 projects on board with Bricky. So what is the impact that Bricky has been giving to them? So first of all, they experienced up to 90% increase in efficiency in terms of their reservation docketing and documentation. So what does that mean for the developer? It means that from 15 to 30 days turnaround time of their reservation documents, it only took them 3 to 7 days with the help of Bricky. So this is also advantageous for the buyers as well, because the buyer will be able to have their documents at an earlier time and to be able to also pay their first equity. So this is what it was without Brookie. So there was manual filling up of forms. I think we're all familiar with this, where we have to fill up so many forms, use so many paperworks. And of course, the requirements and payments must be submitted to the office. That's a lot. It's a little difficult now that we're in the pandemic. And of course, since they have a lot of branches, so they have to forward these paperworks to the head office, and that takes time. So with Brookie now, their buyers can now fill up all their information and forms using digital forms that we provided for them, and they can even do digital signatures. Buyers can also pay online through their Brookie buyers portal, and they can submit their requirements online. The reservation agreement approval takes as little as 3 days, and your client can now able to pay their equity on time. So what else have we been doing for this developer client? So they've also experienced a 600x faster response time. So before, if it would take them 10 to 30 minutes to respond to their clients when their clients would inquire, or if their agents would like to know what's the availability of a unit or what's computation. So now it takes less than 3 minutes with the help of Brookie. So that's a 600x faster response time. We've also eliminated manual daily tasks. So this is just one example. So for this particular client, it would take them 30 minutes per day to update their inventory and disseminate that to their sales team. So Brookie was able to eliminate that action by providing real-time inventory data. So what was the impact that we've seen? So this is actually verbalized by this client. And what they said is that they experienced an increase in visibility on social media due to easy sharing of collaterals, a faster exchange of information. They even mentioned that they have peace of mind now because it's less prone to double sales, and it's easier for them to manage their reopened units. They've also seen an increase in OFW sales due to online reservations. So of course, since our OFW clients are now able to transact all online, that leads to faster sales. Buyers can also act on their decision to purchase because we provide them with multiple payment channels. So they're able to pay through GCash, through online banking, through credit cards, and a lot of other multiple payment channels. Less confusion as well because of the easy to understand forms and term sheets, and easy to submit requirements. And what did that all lead to? So that led to an 11% increase in sales for this particular client. So if you just do the math, if you have like at least $1 billion in sales, think of how much that is, an 11% increase in sales. So it's a very good return for investment, I would say. So we've also received a lot of wonderful feedback from their sales team as well. Some of us are saying that mas mabilis na yung transactions, lalo na kung abroad si client. A lot of saying they can sell faster and easier. They're also saying that gumaan yung work nila because of Brookie, and it's very heartwarming for us to hear this kind of feedback from real people who are using our Brookie system. And this is what our developer client said. Sobrang happy kami sa paggamit ng system, and sa lahat ng investment namin, sobrang happy kami kay Brookie. For them to say sobrang happy twice, it makes me also sobrang happy, to be honest. All right, so the value, we're actually giving our real estate developer clients better visibility and understanding of their buyers and their business. Our clients are now able to move fast and scale fast. Quicker turnaround time, you can convert your inventory to sales, shorten the time to sell out your project, and of course, increasing the cash flow. So where we're going, there's a lot that still needs to be done, and we're also seeing a lot in our vision as well. The future of real estate is really digital. So we're inviting the developers right now to partner with Brookie to expand your reach today, and at the same time, for all of your clients, for all of your agents, for your staff to be able to see what it's like to have faster and better processes with Brookie. So you may also feel free to reach out to us here in our channels below. Right? Back to you, Sir Lawrence.
Thank you so much again for that. So again, I'd like to welcome our panelists to the fireside chat, Mr. Kenneth Stern, Ms. Stefanie Uy-Uta, and Mr. Elroy to answer the questions from our audience. So the first question is, given that this talk is about virtual home buying and selling, what are the technological trends that you can expect from the real estate industry for the upcoming year 2022? Mr. Kenneth Stern, you can go. You can start.
Thanks, Lawrence. So I think there's two major trends that I would say that we will see in 2022. So increased takeover of services in the prop tech space, I believe. So those e-payment channels for both rental utility bills, also processing home loans, property management systems that I mentioned before. I think those will continue to increase and be more efficient and offer better services. And then I think the smart home features will continue to rise as well, and also wellness amenities. So air purification systems for the home, smart amenities, app-based home control devices, cleaning amenities that are smart-based. All these home upgrades, I think, will be more convenient, more functional, more comfortable, and be a priority for many home buyers in the future as well.
Thank you for that, Mr. Kenneth Stern. Brookie Technologies, you're up next.
Yeah, for me, I'll have to agree with what Kenneth mentioned. There's a lot of points that he made, and I think those features are definitely staying, especially going forward, even without the pandemic. So for me, I believe there's going to be an increase in adoption in the digital buying and selling process. That is definitely here to stay because we've seen a change in the behavior of our clients, right? Like, for example, when it comes to payments, we're now so used to paying via GCash or maybe through online banking. And I just don't see it happening that buyers will want to go back to where we were in terms of having to issue post-dated checks and things like that. So the digital buying and selling process, that is here to stay. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. It's already happening.
I totally agree with that, and for all those points shared by Kenneth and Steph. So the things also that I've seen are with regards to technology, developers would really consider maximizing their presence, especially in the social media, in other digital platforms. Especially that based on the trends that Kenneth shared a while ago, there's this increase in their buyers profile with regards to the millennials, and that's where they are. And aside from that, there's gonna be adoption, for example, for drones to be used to capture imagery for marketing purposes and for inspection, right? And of course, as they mentioned a while ago, there's smart building technologies and features that would be future ready. That offers open spaces, and of course, I've also seen the use, and I probably would also be increasing by next year is the adoption of this conversational AI or chatbot services. I've seen that being used by the developers as well. That would continue as well. And again, all of those conveniences that these buyers and these users have experienced, especially in payments, in buying, in selling online, that would also be adopted and will be brought also into the real estate industry as well.
Thank you for that, Mr. Elroy. I actually agree with the points that you've said, given that it will be much easier with technology around. So the next question we have over here. So given that there's a shift towards online transactions, that everything is online, has your company done anything to take any cybersecurity measures to ensure that transactions and everything done online is done in a very safe manner? Mr. Kenneth Stern, you may start.
Yeah, of course, we take all of our transactions very seriously. We have a cyber protection policy as well, and data privacy protection policy. The way our system works technically is we have an AP access and then a public site for the front end. So the AP access is completely secure, so anyone can upload their listings. It's a unique password to every user. And then on the buying or on the property seeker side, they can view all the sources and searches. But the only way that they can connect with the property seller is through registering their phone number to make sure they're a legitimate person with a phone number or email address. We also encourage all of our property sellers to make sure that they communicate professionally through our platform, and then for all property seekers to only communicate with sellers or brokers directly. If anyone's asking for, let's say, a showing fee or things like that, we tell them, that's typically not standard. It's not practice. So that's probably a scammer looking to get some quick cash from you, or to confuse you in the process. So we send out disclaimers like that, and constant reminders on what the best practices are in the industry and what to expect from our services.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth Stern. Rookie Technologies.
Well, on our part also, again, that's the standard, right? We all have to have a secure site. For our servers, we also are very much reliable and reliant with our partner providers, which is the AWS and also Google. There's password protection and security measures. All are encrypted using cryptographic hash functions. And of course, there's password protections, OTPs, all of that. And we're not short in reminding our users really to be very careful, not only in their using our platform, but all of their activities online that might compromise them. And very much technical, but same thing with Kenneth. We all have to have our own measures, and also our users as well have to understand and to also adapt, and to also be very careful with their activities online.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elroy. So for the next question we have over here, I think this one is more geared towards Mr. Kenneth Stern, since he mentioned something about his buyer's market. So this question is, Mr. Kenneth Stern, how do you believe that millennials are changing the home buying process?
Yeah, I think that it'll continue to change the home buying process in the future as well. Not just what we see now, but we'll see new trends. So millennials are very understanding of data. They don't make decisions quickly. They want to understand everything. So I think that with that, they're going to see comparables. They want to see comps for different properties. They're going to want to see the different trends in the market. They want to speak with multiple experts. They're going to want to see that data fast and quickly. They want to be they want to be transparent. They want things to be laid out very well, creatively, easy to use. So the UX is super important for millennials. So generally, I think this trend will continue. And on the tech side, we're even seeing now, the younger millennials, or even Gen Z looking for properties as well. So those 18-year-olds to 24-year-olds have now increased in the number of searches, which is interesting because, that's, really towards the renting side, but also for young investors looking at real estate as a stable market compared to other markets now, which are very, very volatile in the Philippines. So I think that many millennials are now going into higher stages in the workforce, so they'll look to invest their money, also starting families. So that trend will continue, and I think within the next 1 or 2 years, they'll surpass baby boomers in terms of real estate take up, which is, I think, a huge trend, which will be really, really new for the Philippines.
Yeah, and if I may add to that, I've seen, as a real estate broker on the ground, what I've been seeing right now here in the pandemic is that the developers are offering longer term equity. So because the equity has now become quite a longer term, so that becomes a smaller amount, and because it's a smaller amount, more millennials are able to afford to invest in these properties. So we actually have developer clients that have increased their number of millennial buyers because of that trend. And we're also seeing that millennials have become more investment savvy. So not only are they investing in real estate, they're investing in stock market, they're investing in cryptocurrencies. So definitely this digital age is giving millennials the power to become more knowledgeable in the way they handle their money. And that includes definitely real estate.
Thank you very much for your answers. Actually, as a millennial myself, I've also been searching. I've already checked the pages. I've checked properties online. I've also tried my luck in cryptocurrency, and I'd say that a lot of people from my age group are starting to get into real estate because everyone's getting older. So, all right. So for the next question, in your opinion, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the virtual house tours that is being currently done given the pandemic? You may start, Mr. Kenneth Stern.
Yeah, I think there are definitely both pros and cons to the virtual experience. So pros being, it's a time saver. So instead of before, if you wanted to see 10 properties, you actually need to go out and drive to 10 properties and see them. Now you can do them from from the comfort of your own home. You get the general feel, from the property. Of course, you have the price range beforehand, but you can basically eliminate properties that don't, match your, match most of your criteria in terms of the look and the feel of it. So now your home process becomes a bit wider in terms of the first search, but then when you actually go to see the property, you eliminate, maybe 7 of the 10 from day one. So you're now going to 3 that you really like, and then you can then search and narrow down much quicker. The cons of it, I think, are less than the pros. So with the cons of it, obviously you don't get the actual feel of it. The transaction itself is very rare in the virtual experience. Most people still want to see the property before they buy it. They want to step through it. They want to see the finishings. So it's really just I guess an entry point to the property, but not the end solution. But like I mentioned before, we have done a few virtual transactions this year where it's been sight unseen. So people are becoming more and more, I guess, comfortable with that. But it's still not at the I guess the level where most property seekers would feel comfortable doing that, which is something I think that will happen more and more in the future as AI gets better and 3D technology gets better and things like that. But for now, it's a great way to eliminate properties that may not search and give you a time saver and to get a really good feel basically for what's in the market.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth Stern. So next up, Rookie Technologies.
Well, for one, one of the cons that really, again, I think Kenneth also mentioned is that it allows the buyers to see the properties, the comfort of their own homes now. Whether the client is an OFW situated elsewhere globally, VR gives the client the ability to experience the home just virtually. Another advantage would also be it facilitates, like, again, the on-site tours. It sort of might also replace costly show homes, scale models, printed collaterals too, that could facilitate and that could replace that. One of the cons that I might be seeing is that for VR, for a very large project like an apartment, skyscraper, residential complex, right? For a commercial real estate, that would be a cost-effective solution. But for a small individual developer, that might be there might be some consideration. Nevertheless, developers again must take into account these cost factors in regards to applying commercial real estate. And of course, again, the Filipino culture of still having this culture of wanting to see an item, not only the garments or anything that they buy online, but of course the house. They still have and still need to experience the actual unit, the actual model itself.
I may add to that. I think there's also a lot of value in terms of virtual tours when we're talking about pre-selling properties. So pre-selling properties, we all know the project is not quite there yet, but with a virtual tour, there could be this whole facility of you could actually see how the development will look like once it's already finished. Instead of just seeing just one model house or just one model home, you can already have an idea of, let's say, for example, the orientation of the house that you'll be choosing. What's the view? What are you going to see? So these are some advantages to virtual tours. But as a broker and seeing how my clients react, at the end of the day, they will want to see the actual model house. So I don't think that's not going to go away. So I think the developers can use VR virtual tours to supplement how they would sell their properties.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, so I think we only have time for one more question from the audience. So the last question from our audience is, in your opinion, what issues do you think will continue to challenge the real estate industry of the Philippines? Mr. Kenneth Stern?
Yeah, of course, there will be a number of challenges that we have to face next year and possibly further because of the pandemic. So, of course, public health and economic environment will be influenced by confidence in the industry. So that buying confidence is going to be super important. Right now, we're in a completely, a buyer's market right now. Prices have dropped for many secondary sellers. Developers are offering discounts and stretch payments to entice and for essentially a catalyst for more sales. So that shift hopefully to a seller's market in the future. There's a huge backlog in housing at the moment as well. So of course, that affordable housing topic that we're talking about, that 6.5 million house backlog by 2030 is something that the public sector needs to address. I think that the quality of life, is something that needs to be looked at as well, and the industry's impact on that. So sustainable buildings, green technology, basically creating a more walkable lifestyle, that's healthier for Filipino people. I think these are all trends that will continue to be a challenge that we have to face in the real estate industry, and hopefully solve a lot of these problems in the near future, to give people the best real estate experience and also the best lifestyle possible by living in the Philippines.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth Stern. And for other two panelists, Ms. Stephanie and Mr. Alvarez.
I would totally agree with Kenneth right there. The coronavirus really affected, and it's widespread, not only us. It altered our economy, even our ways of living. So I think we'll just have to wait and see before we can make any, if there's really real assessment. But with our country's continued infrastructure buildup, the low interest rate regime, the ramp up of COVID vaccination campaign, that could contribute to a quick rebound with our economy as well. Again, there's the challenge again also is this also changing needs of our buyers, as what Kenneth shared, where the demand of affordable private spaces has risen. But surely one thing I could share really is that the pandemic contributed to this digital acceleration, to this the Filipinos finally embrace in a matter of a year all of those digital products that we have right there, and it's changing also the real estate market as well. It's opening doors to more innovations. No? It's opening doors for improvements in the system, and that's what that sets the stage for what's the future in real estate is in the Philippines, not only in the Philippines but also the rest of the country, and rest regionally, and that's where I'm very much also optimistic about.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much to our panelists. I think that's all the time we have right now for our Q&A portion. But before we end this, maybe we'd like to hear the final words from our panelists. Mr. Kenneth Stern, do you have any closing remarks for our audience?
Yeah, well, firstly, thank you, Lawrence, for hosting today. You did a great job, and thank you, TGFI, for having me. It's been an honor. I think that the topic is very relevant for a number of different reasons. The new normal is going to be, marked by rapid innovation and the continuous change and solution to many problems that we're facing now and in the future. I think that in order to stay afloat and to overcome these, property sellers must not only adapt but really embrace these new technologies and then use it to their advantage. At Lamudi, of course, you want to help in that process. If you're a property seeker, if you're a developer, if you're a broker, we want to give you all the resources you need to be successful. So please do reach out if you have any questions about the buying experience, the selling experience. If you're a developer that needs help with online marketing campaigns, we're here to make that process as simple and easy as possible. And with that, hopefully millions of people can find their dream properties online one day. So thank you again, Lawrence and TGFI.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth Stern. So would there be any closing remarks from our panelists from Brookie Technologies, Miss Stefanie Uy and Mr. Elroy Uta?
Yes, once again, thank you so much, so Lawrence, and of course the OSHDP and TGFI team. It's truly an exciting time to be in the property technology field at the moment. There's still so much that can be done. There's still so much that we can improve on in the way real estate is done here in the Philippines. So for us with Brookie, we've actually been sort of preaching this whole going digital even before the pandemic happened. And now that the pandemic is here, it's just kind of accelerated all of that process. So what we've done is we've simplified the home buying and the home selling process. And what's the great thing about the technology that we made is that the developers can apply it in the grassroots level, so their staff can benefit from it. Their buyers can benefit. Their agents can also benefit from the technology that we're giving. So we want to be able to reach as many developers as we can so that they can also enjoy what we've made for them. And exactly, that's the technology that we made was created for the Philippine real estate developers. So it's very applicable for them. So again, thank you so much, OSHDP, Sir Lawrence, TGFI, and also everyone who's watching today. And please do feel free to reach out to us if there's anything that you'd like to talk about, to discuss. We're here to answer.
Thank you very much for those closing remarks, Ms. Stefanie Uy-Uta. And that concludes our portion of this fireside chat. And I'd like to once again thank our speakers, Mr. Kenneth Stern, Ms. Stefanie Uy-Uta, and Mr. Elroy Uta. I hope you all learned a lot today about virtual home buying and selling. Back to you, Aaron.